again. Welcome to another episode of Ask the Doulas. I am Alyssa, your host, and I'm talking with Dr. Annie and Dr. Rachel again of Rise Wellness.
Hi.
Hey.
Hello.
So we had the idea of talking about building a birth team and what that might look like for new parents as they start this journey, because there are obviously a lot of options. And we can talk about doulas, we can talk about chiropractic care, but we can also ask you, Dr. Rachel, as a fairly recent mom. Mm-hmm. I mean, your twins are how old now?
10 months today.
10 months. Mm-hmm. So you fairly recently went through this whole process of
yes.
who do I need to talk to? What does my birth plan look like? Mm-hmm. What was the first thing when you found out you were pregnant? Like, I need to call who? Like an OB? Your husband?
I need to tell my husband. Yeah, my OB. That's who I called first, probably.
So did you have an OB already that you liked?
Yeah, I mean, my gyno. Yeah.
Okay.
I liked her.
And she's also an OB?
Yes.
And there was no thought, what if a mom...
There was thought, do I want to go this route? I did meet with a midwife. Is she the right one? Yes, is she the right one? I met with a midwife. Yeah, so I guess I did do all that.
Yeah, because we have, for birth clients, they don't often change, but I think once you wrap your head around this plan that you see as ideal, you might realize that your current healthcare team might not be the right team to achieve those goals.
Yes.
And we have to tell it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
They're working for you. You can interview around and pick a new one.
Yes.
Why not?
Ultimately, you want to figure out what your ideal birth looks like and what that team looks like. That's going to support you through that process.
Yeah, and encourage you. And not question you on everything you want to do.
Right.
I feel I didn't get that a lot from my OB, but I know a lot of our patients do. Even her patients that were, but I feel I didn't get it because I was a chiropractor. She kind of left me alone.
So do you think that meant she knew you already did your research?
Yes.
You're an educated mom?
Yes.
So they're assuming these other moms are not?
Yes, because I have friends that also had her, and they would get a lot of pushback.
Got to third degree pushback. Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't ever think about it that way.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of our moms do get that pushback. Mm-hmm. But I think being educated is the biggest part of that, right? If you know your stuff. If they can say, well, why do you want that? If they do give you pushback, then you say, well, because.
I'm sure there's some moms out there way more educated than I am that were planning to be a mom and really have thought about it more than I did. So
right.
I think that's where an organized birth plan comes in too, and having support and people that support you, like doulas, helps you with that pushback. If you do get pushback from your OB or from your midwife or whoever, your family. That's
right.
It
could come from all directions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I did, I knew you, so I talked to you and met with Ashley and Kristen. And I was like, cool, you guys have this handled. I don't have to worry about anything anymore.
I have a question.
You're going to get me through all of it. I am no longer worried. You know how to get me through labor. You know how to, everything.
Right.
So I highly recommend doulas.
Yeah, and I know they will help. So doulas won't write your... Did you have a birth plan?
Yes, I did. I took your guys' hypnobirthing class.
Okay.
Which, so it's another thing. You should decide what kind of birthing class you want to take. I would also highly recommend that. But it was awesome. But,
which helps with that whole education piece that you've done your homework, taking childbirth ed classes.
And so that, with hypnobirthing, they kind of help you with a birth plan of what you want. Ashley goes through that.
And they don't do it for you.
No.
But they will explain some things and answer questions. And ultimately, we want, and doulas in general, at least at Gold Coast, want you to be informed and educated to make your own decisions.
Yes.
Parents will call us and say, well, I want you to advocate for me, and that's not what we do. We will empower you to advocate for yourself because you're educated and have fact-based resources that you've been given to make those decisions. But we don't sit there and tell people what to do on your behalf.
No, and I think what happens, and what even happened to me, is you get there, and they really, they say, if you're going to have you can have a birth wherever, home birth, hospital birth. I ended up having a hospital birth, but they scare you, and so they really do into what they want to do, and so it's important to be educated, but also have people that are there supporting you and empowering you, that know the right decision and what's best for you. So stand up for yourself while you're there, and it's hard to do.
Right. And that too, so there, whether you're going to have a hospital birth, are you going to have a home birth? Are you going to call the one birth center in Grand Rapids?
Yeah, you do a water birth. Are you going to do?
Yeah, and even if it's a hospital birth, are you interested in the natural birthing suites that are available? Are you limited to what hospital based on your insurance? Like finding out all these things and going from there.
Do you want a midwife or an OB? That's another big question. A lot of people are uncomfortable with midwives because they don't think they're as trained, or they're scared that something might go wrong during the birth. So I hear that a lot from people who are interested in home births and want to have a midwife and want to do like the crunchy natural thing, but are like, what if something does go wrong? And I think one of the biggest things that most midwives would tell you is that they're so trained to recognize flags before they're even red flags, that if for some reason anything would go wrong, so many of them are so experienced and they know exactly how to handle that situation.
But also going wrong is so different in like a midwife home birth than like in the hospital. Like going wrong in the hospital is like, I don't know, anything.
Oh, levels of intervention.
Yeah, it's just like where they'd be like, this is just natural. Like your body's doing what it needs to do at home. Exactly. So it's just...
midwives come from the more of like the philosophy of supporting the woman rather than taking control of the birth too. There's this great quote by Ina McGaston that I wrote down. Most women need encouragement more than they need drugs. And I think that's true throughout their pregnancy. That's true throughout the birth process, and really that's true for most people throughout their lives.
God, I was going to say even postpartum and beyond, right?
Well, exactly.
Just tell me I'm doing a great job, and then maybe I won't be so down on myself, those little things, little pieces of encouragement from family, friends.
Trusting the natural process and knowing that your body is capable of doing what it's supposed to do, what it's designed to do.
Well, and the beauty of this too is there's so many midwives that work in hospitals. So you can get the best of both worlds where...
Yeah, if you are scared of...
and a lot of times it's the partner who might be a little scared. Mom might say, I want a water birth at home, and dad says, heck no way, that's not safe, blah, blah, blah. Well, how about a midwife in a hospital? Maybe the natural birthing suites, and as long as you're low risk, it's a pretty beautiful option.
Plus, let me just tell you, those hospital beds are uncomfortable. So I cannot believe they are putting pregnant women in those.
Exactly.
So I would totally opt for it. If I didn't have a twin pregnancy and all these things, I would have, one, done it at home. Two, I would have done the natural birthing suite at Spectrum. So you get like a normal bed there?
It's a king size bed.
Yeah, it's better than when I have at home. So
I mean, you don't get to stay there after delivery. You walk in there and you go, wow, this is amazing. But if you could stay there for 2 days, it's literally like a beautiful hotel room. Yeah, but unfortunately, they have to move you for the next lady coming in. But.
Even just being able to lay in that bed as you like lay, gosh.
Right.
Oh.
Well, we've had a couples who have delivered in there, and it's just kind of happened where dad was sitting against the back of the bed and mom was kind of between his legs, so he got to support her and talk into her ear, and just kind of a nice thing you can do in that sort of environment that you can in others.
Really nice.
Yeah. So what else was in your process when you found out you got pregnant? You had your OB.
Had my OB.
You obviously knew a chiropractor.
Was done check. Met with you guys. Just taking classes. Like I said, I'm a chiropractor. I can adjust someone and educate them on what they should do and support them. I know how to do all that, but I never had a baby before. I might know. So I took your lactation class. I took the hypnobirthing class. I tried to do whatever. I read books. I would say find a lactation consultant, like one that you like. I would do that beforehand. Also, I would take that class and I would find one you trust, because you think you're going to have these babies and they're just going to breastfeed, and that shit is hard. And the people that just show up in your hospital room aren't the nicest, I'll be honest.
Yeah, find a lot of people to go see.
Yeah, so find someone you like beforehand. I would definitely put that on.
Well, and it's nice, like you said, if you take the breastfeeding class with our lactation consultant, Shira, you kind of already know her, and then to have her come to your home for a consult, the day you get home.
You feel comfortable, you don't feel judged.
You know her, she spends 2 hours with you alone, and not, hey, I'm here for 15 minutes until I get to the next patient.
Yes. So I would recommend that also.
What other parts about the birth plan that you did in hypnobirthing do you think would be important for people to
educate themselves on?
Yeah.
New parents. deciding if they want any, like, you know, do they want an epidural, do they want any interventions, do they want to hydrate themselves, do they want to be on an IV, you know, these are things I don't even think if you have a hospital birth that you realize you have a choice about. Like, no, I'm going to hydrate myself, I don't want to be hooked up to an IV, I want to be able to walk around. When you go to, if you deliver at Spectrum, they have, I'd say go do the hospital tour also, so you feel a little more comfortable about where you're going. They have lots of options for you while birthing. But if they hook you up all of a sudden, you can't do anything.
Right. Unless there's something that calls for it, right? Like if you have to.
Yeah, if you have to.
I mean, yeah. For some reason.
Well, that's also when you ask questions. Like, that was a big thing about hypnobirthing. They teach you, like, am I okay? Is baby okay? Okay, if we're okay, do we really have to do this right now? And then, what do you want for baby once baby's born? Do you want do you not want them to clamp the cord right away? Do you want to do the vitamin K? Do you want to do, is it the Hep A they
Hep
do?
B.
Hep B. Do you want the drops in the eye? Do you know, there's all these things that you also, and they do ask you, like I was surprised I got asked, even though I had a birth plan, they're still like, do you want this?
Yeah, and for new parents who don't even know what this stuff is, again, you research it, you figure it out, and then no
you
matter
figure out what's best
what,
for you.
And as doulas, and I'm sure as chiropractors too, you don't judge them based on the decisions they're making as parents. You work with them where they are and figure out the best solution for them at this time. Well, what about chiropractic care? You know, so you find out you're pregnant. Does chiropractic care change for you? You know, so you have Dr. Annie working on you because you can't work on yourself, right? So does that change, or why does a mom who doesn't see a chiropractor, you know, what would she need to know? Like, okay, now I'm pregnant, I need to do this.
I mean, for somebody who's been under chiropractic care, what happens, like, as your body's changing and as your baby's growing, we focus more on pelvic alignment and making sure that everything is in the right, like, making sure all the bones are moving together the way they're supposed to, making sure that the joints are really not super mobile, but we want them to be able to move the way that they're supposed to for the birth process. So it helps remove that tension in the pelvis, helps the nervous system communicate the way it's supposed to, because your brain needs to tell all of your reproductive organs what to do. And it removes tension on the uterine ligaments too. So a lot of women with babies that maybe aren't in the right presentation, like if the baby's either breech or if it's posterior, sometimes that's caused from interuterine constraint, and so there's specialized chiropractic techniques like Webster technique, which we're certified in, to help with the ligament tension so that the uterus can balance within the pelvis and then the baby can get into the right position that it's supposed to.
Yeah, because if you think when you're growing a baby and you gain 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds, you know, that's got to put strain on your muscle. Well, you had twins. Do you want to say how much you gained?
Let me hang on. What was I weighing?
But it's got to put a ton of strain on your
gained like
muscles.
60 to 70 pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, it does. It puts tons of strain on your muscles, but also you have relaxin in your system, so your ligaments are softening anyway, so those muscles try to stabilize everything that's going on. So a lot of women will have like low back or like butt pain, like sciatic kind of symptoms just while they're pregnant, because all of a sudden they're carrying so much more weight in the front of their body. So so chiropractic can help with that too. We're good at that.
I saw on Instagram a guy with a watermelon duct taped to his belly, and the wife was like, now you know what I feel like. But it was kind of true, you know, like imagine walking around all summer with a watermelon taped.
Oh yeah,
duct
and
taped
within
to
a
your
couple
belly.
of months, like you're, you know, gaining a lot of weight. Your body's
gotta
changing
put strain
very
on your back.
rapidly, exactly, and strain on your nervous system too. So, but yeah, chiropractic care. There's been a lot of studies that show that there's less intervention, which is awesome for moms and babies, especially if that's part of your birth plan. Less emergencies, less birth trauma, things like that. So
yeah, because you have to realize whatever you're given during your, I mean, you can decide what you want. During your labor delivery, baby's getting also. So I don't think a lot of people realize that either. So
yeah, some of the, depending on what the intervention is, it can affect breastfeeding. You know, mom can be groggy, baby can be groggy. A lot of weird side effects, right?
Yeah. For healthy pregnancy, staying fit, you know, is important. So what kind of, you know, fitness do you want to be doing? You'll find prenatal yoga, or there's Fit for Moms, and they do a lot of prenatal classes. And after that, that's important. Finding what you feel comfortable doing while you're pregnant.
Yeah, and what about the mom who doesn't work out, finds out she's pregnant, and says, "Oh boy, I better get on this train now." I've heard doctors say that. And none of us are like medical doctors, so we shouldn't give like advice. But I've heard them say, whatever you're doing before you're pregnant, you can continue it as long as it seems right for your body.
So
but you don't want to like
a lot of yoga,
just start lifting weights after you get pregnant.
I'm gonna go to CrossFit.
Yeah, right. I'm gonna do CrossFit.
If your
camp,
body's
start
used
running.
to it, then you can usually continue it unless there's issues that your MD tells you not to lift heavy weights anymore, things like that. But typically, like, you don't want to start anything too vigorous if you haven't been active. Walking is amazing. Yoga, prenatal yoga is great. So yeah, those are all good choices. And I think that that's an important thing. Most women find out they're pregnant and are like, I want to be fit for my baby. I want to look at my nutrition because I want to make sure my baby's healthy. I'm going to stop drinking, anything like that. But I don't think a lot of thought goes into necessarily the birth plan and their birth team and stuff. So that's an important piece too, especially if you need advocates to help you.
And it's funny you say that because we've gotten more and more phone calls at that, like, hey, I'm 34 weeks. It's almost like oh my God, like, this is for real. I've been so focused on other things that now this baby is going to be here, and I need to start thinking about the real stuff. And they get scared, and they call us and say, is anyone available? Like, I think I need a team.
We get that a lot too, especially like a woman who's 37 weeks and is like, my baby's in the wrong position, can you help me? It's like, we can do our best to balance your pelvis, we can help relax those ligaments so your baby has the best chance of turning, but that's not a guarantee. And really, like, chiropractic throughout your whole pregnancy would set you up for a way better experience than
and a higher success rate.
Yes, exactly.
Instead of it's the whole preventative. Why wait until
same with
something's already happened?
I mean, I probably met with you guys very early on, and they were just like, text us whenever. Question about anything.
Right, and that's
and I was even like, do you guys know any good daycares? Like, I don't know. I wasn't planning this. I know nothing.
But that's the benefit of hiring again early. Like, instead of coming in to a chiropractor at 37 weeks or calling us at 34 or 37 weeks, you hire literally sometimes at 6 weeks when they just find out, and you through the whole pregnancy then for the same price. Whole pregnancy, you have that support.
Exactly.
Which can really, affect outcomes and
helps reduce
mental.
Stress. I mean, you don't want too much stress when you're pregnant either. So
no, we have that prenatal stress class too. You guys should pop into that one time.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good. It's a newer. We've only taught it a couple times, but it's Deb from Simply Successful Kids.
Love
so
that.
she teaches it, and it's really great. I think no matter what age your kid is, it's beneficial.
Yo, I bet.
Whether they're 1, 10, or
9,
40, like it's pretty intense. So you have your baby, and you go home, and I think this leaves parents in this period of isolation, especially for moms if their partner has to work. And I don't think they know that healthcare team can expand into the postpartum phase. So, like you had doulas, a birth doula team at Gold Coast will give you one postpartum visit. They're going to come follow up with you. How did everything go? How's breastfeeding going? But then beyond that, our postpartum doulas can come and work with you in your home for extended periods of time. So I think understanding that your team doesn't have to disappear the second you have your baby.
Yes, that was nice. And I did have postpartum doulas come, and it was, I'm very much like, I'm good. I don't need any help. But it was so nice. And there's, like, no judgment. No one's there judging you, and it's just nice to have people there to, like, support you. And literally, I think they would just take care of babies. And you just feel comfortable with them. Like, they're here, they know how to take care of babies. So, like, you guys got this, and I would go work out in my basement.
Yeah.
So it was nice.
Well,
take a shower.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you don't get to do those normal things anymore.
Yeah,
and then when you have anxiety as a first-time mom about somebody caring for your baby, to know that, okay, they're professional, they're trained, they've done this not only with their own children, but with several other families. You know, they know what they're doing. I can feel confident to walk out of that room.
They make you feel like a good mom, like you got this. So, yeah.
Well, and that's part of it, too, is, you know, as much as the parents think you're there to care for that baby, we're doing just as much
Right.
for mom
Oh,
and
yeah.
sometimes
Absolutely.
dad too, you know. And sometimes all it takes is, how are you feeling today? And then mom bursts into tears, and you're like, all right, we need to sit on the sofa. Let me make you some tea. Let's talk. Let's talk for a little bit. I'll hold the baby. You sit and drink this tea.
Yeah, it's hard at first.
And then chiropractic too. I
Yes.
mean, you don't have your baby and quit. So your body just went through all these changes during pregnancy, and now you just delivered a baby.
Yeah. So
And I think we
drastic changes
expect,
on the way back.
we expect like, oh, you know, I'm going to be bounce back at this.
No.
Well, it took 9 months to change and get here. It's possibly going to take 9 months to get back to where you were before.
Absolutely. I mean, with any like injury and stuff, usually they say like 6 weeks if you roll your ankle, but if you're giving birth, like that's a huge stress on your body. So I mean, like you can expect probably another 6 to 9 months recovery.
I would say a year. I'm
Getting
still
your body-
recovering from that pregnancy.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a long time, and chiropractic, again, is great with that, making sure everything goes back in its place where it's supposed to and works and functions the way that it's supposed to, and really helps your body and brain optimize your healing. We also do like home visits for new moms and stuff because it's so hard to get out of the house.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we go
Okay.
to visit new baby.
Yep, especially, I mean, if the baby's having any latching problems and stuff too, we can work with your
Lactation
your
consultant.
lactation.
My latch consultant.
Yeah. Latch consultant,
Yeah,
yes,
latch
consultant. But adjustments for babies are really good too, especially after they're born, when their head and neck are like so compressed coming out of the birth canal, or if they're being pulled out by their head and neck, which happens whether you have a vaginal birth or a C-section birth. That can cause misalignments in their neck, which can lead to issues feeding or issues with stress. Like colicky babies will often have that too. So we try to just approach that very like comfortably and easily. Our adjustments are super gentle for infants, but have like amazing results.
I saw you give the twins adjustments when they were like a day old.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very gentle.
Yes,
and they
Dr.
did not
Amy
cry.
Hayden.
They did not fuss.
Yeah.
I mean, babies might cry during adjustment, but that's just because
It's
they're
very-
mad we're putting them in a position they don't want to be in.
Right. Why are you
I wanna
moving me
be on
here?
my back
And we're
right
new
now.
strange people, so
Yeah.
they're just, you know. But we had some like pretty amazing outcomes with a 10-day-old that I did a house visit for. He was having a really hard time latching, and it was super painful for mom, and I adjusted him while he was breastfeeding, and then he was able to latch 3 times with no pain for her, like totally fine at finding the nipple, and did a really good job.
Really?
Yeah.
Just
And that was just
while breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And that was with one adjustment, which is not always the case, but with infants it's pretty minor what we have to do. So, and it's not like this huge intervention.
Because it's not the years and years of stress that we've put on our bodies.
Exactly.
They're only days or weeks
Yes,
old.
their bodies are super adaptable. They're
Yeah.
constantly learning what's going on, and so yeah, we see those really big changes
we
with
see
them.
that a lot, and we see the tight necks
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
from the delivery. Can't turn their
Torticollis
head,
and stuff.
torticollis, and then they're
Yeah.
getting a flat spot. And
yeah, yeah.
Now-
Usually that muscle tension is because of that upper cervical
Cervical, yeah.
misalignment.
Yeah, we had a physical therapist on, a friend of mine, Jessica Bukema, from, and I always get it's Hulse Jepson, or
Okay,
Jepson
yeah.
Hulse. I always get those two flip-flopped, who specifically does like torticollis and plagiocephaly, and she's really good, like if beyond your chiropractic
Okay,
care,
that's good to
you know,
know.
like physical therapy is needed. So I think bottom line, like for parents, they need to, you know, be kind to yourself.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
So kind.
be kind and
No
allow
shame.
give yourself
That's-
some
Yeah.
grace. Yeah,
It's
like,
really, really hard.
Yeah.
The thing is, so you sit down, you find out you're pregnant, you've done all the things. You get your people in your corner, you get your birth team, you write your birth plan, and I guarantee you nothing's gonna go the way you want it to. It
Maybe
just won't.
some things, but
Maybe
probably.
some, but like, yeah, some things, but it's just not gonna be this probably what you envision. Maybe, like, I'd say maybe your second time around, it might, but if you're a first time mom, you just have to be flexible and just know you're doing your best, and then, to just be not hard on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the
afterwards. That's like
downside
the
of
hardest thing is not
these
being
birth
hard.
plans is just they become a plan and it's set in stone.
Yeah,
and
people-
if it doesn't go that way, I'm a failure. And that's I think the negative side of
Yes.
empowering mothers, which
Yes.
there's you're walking a fine
Right.
line there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you just have to go in being like, okay, here's my plan, but I might have to like waver from it, and that's okay.
But this is I tell moms, this is your first test, because once you have this baby, nothing's going to go with this plan. Your schedule's not your own anymore.
No.
This timeline, when, going to sleep and waking up for the first several weeks. Like
Some months
nothing.
Going to sleep and waking up still is not on my time, I'll tell you that.
I need to talk to you about that.
Yeah, they're doing better, but
yeah.
it's still like, I'd rather not wake up at 7 a.m. if I had.
Well, that's pretty normal. 7 a.m. is a pretty normal wake
That's what I'm
time.
saying. Still not my time.
But I mean, like heading to Target on a whim,
Yeah.
it doesn't happen for a
No.
while,
Yeah.
especially if you're breastfeeding, because you have such a small window in between
Right.
the breastfeeding sessions, and then you change their clothes, and the second you get them strapped in that car seat, they have a blowout. So you
Right.
take them out again and
I
change the
could
diaper.
say,
And
probably just give up on running errands.
for a while, yeah. And that's
Until
okay,
you-
but
yeah,
having those
absolutely.
realistic expectations and not, I thought I was going to go on maternity leave and be baking gourmet meals for my family, and, I was like, what was I thinking?
Yeah, but that's another thing to think about though. For in your birth team is a sleep consultant.
Yeah.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
People should look into that more and
Also,
set aside
maybe-
some cash for it.
Maybe
Like,
a
that
gourmet
should be.
chef. Have somebody come to your house.
Well, we have the Life Fuel has
Yeah.
saved me.
See?
So, like, my delivery just came last night, and I'm ordering. I keep ordering more and more and more because it's just so convenient
And so good.
and healthy. Like, I can't cook for this price, this healthy, and make it taste this good.
Yeah,
like,
that's
I just
awesome.
I can't. But sleep too. Like and it's people think it's really 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 expensive, and it's not that bad. And I even have like a really small fee where I just say, your baby's not ready to sleep train yet. This baby's not ready to sleep through the night, but
Yeah.
I will have a conversation with you about some help. Let's start some healthy sleep habits.
Yeah.
And
Sleep
that's
is I think it's a big strain on relationship during the time.
well,
Because let me tell you,
there's
dads
usually
dads
two
don't hear
different-
babies crying.
Well, and there's two different theories usually. Like dads will say, just let them cry, it's fine. And I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still like partially attached by the umbilical cord. I can't listen to
Right.
my baby cry.
So I think that's a big one people need to think about
Mm-hmm.
and don't.
And I think just starting off, like not sleep training your 3-week-old, but let's talk about, let's get some things in your head and start doing a few things with, sleep cycles and, patterns and how we want to shape this so that at the 12 or 14-week mark, when most babies are ready, I mean, they're ready and it's
Yeah.
not hard and it's not this week-long struggle.
Right.
Which is so great that you guys do that, because there's so much conflicting information out there about sleep and letting your babies cry it out, or whether you should nurture them. Like it's
And
there's
the
a
thing
lot of
is
conflicting information.
it is conflicting, and you can't just read one book and think that, well,
That's
this
the
worked
answer.
for my neighbor or my nephew,
Right.
or like that's why I have every consult. I talk to them for an hour, sometimes 2, and I get a really good sense of what that family is like and what they do and what their goals are, what their values are. If one of their values is co-sleeping,
Yeah.
I work that into the plan.
Yeah.
There's a happy medium for everybody.
Right.
And I don't believe in letting your kid cry in the crib for 2 hours. That's not healthy for parents or the baby.
No.
Yeah.
And that means they need something. So we're going to figure out how to work them out of that. But there's no just one right answer.
Yeah, that's
and
a
that's
good
why
point.
it's hard.
I think
You
a lot of
can't-
people think that.
It's
'cause
very-
You can't read a book and figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, if you might get lucky and the first
Yeah.
one you read works.
I had a friend, and it was interesting. She read this, here was the plan. She did it. It worked it for her first kid, and so she swore by everyone. Told her, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it didn't work for me. Like, oh, there's something wrong with the kids. And then she had a second kid, doesn't work on it at all.
Because it's a completely
you
different
needed this
personality.
because
Well, there's 2 things going on there. The kid has a different personality and
Right.
a different temperament.
Oh yeah, that's exactly.
Could have a medical issue they don't know about, right? And she also has a baby and a toddler.
Yeah, right.
And that toddler throws the biggest wrench in these plans because
Yeah.
now you have to figure out how I have a screaming newborn, but I also have to get this toddler to bed who, and that's the good thing. If you have a toddler who's
Just
already
sleeps,
on a sleep
yeah.
schedule, so much easier to
Yeah.
then get that newborn
Yeah,
into the
important.
mix.
Sleep's important for babies. Sleep's important for parents. So.
For growth, for health,
Yeah.
for development. I mean, we just don't put enough emphasis
No.
on sleep. I love sleep.
I know, same.
We all do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like same.
And babies need it.
Exactly.
Like, they need it.
I think it stresses out. We got way off topic here, but I think it stresses out parents a lot when you're like, I know you need to sleep, and you're not sleeping, you're not napping, and then you're crazy, and now I'm crazy, and
I think
So
it stresses out the parents.
Yeah.
And then baby reacts to that
Yeah.
stress and becomes more stressed. And when they reach that peak, there's almost no consoling them. So
Ugh.
it's difficult.
And that would get a sleep consultant on your birth team.
Yes, that would be a great part of a birth team.
Babies.
2 at once.
Yeah.
Or maybe 3.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's all
Can't imagine.
difficult. That's why you need a team.
That's why you need a team. That's what we're concluding.
It
here.
takes
a village.
Yeah.
It takes a village.
Well, for the parents who are looking for their team, tell them where to find you ladies.
We are in the Kingsley building right next door to you.
And where's the Kingsley building for those who don't know?
Right on the corner of Robinson and Lake, where Lake is shut down right now because of construction. So come down Robinson if you get here. Right in Easttown, Grand Rapids, and
On the second floor.
yep, second floor.
So the restaurant Terra is right below us.
Also shout out to EA Brady's.
Right, E.A.
Yeah.
Brady's, Wax Poetic, all sorts of really good. So I always tell people if they're coming to our classes, come early because you can eat at a restaurant, you can
Yeah.
go make a candle,
Yeah.
grab some jerky.
Grab some jerky, right? Get a cupcake. I don't know what's Connie's cupcakes are, but I don't know.
And then work out.
Then hit up a spin class and see.
Get your hair done. What else is around here?
Get a therapy session.
Well, there's Rebels down the road too, which is a really fun
Yeah.
gift shop. Like it's just a really fun area. We love being here.
I love it
Yeah.
here.
So
Again, we're getting off topic. So
But here's all the things you can do in Easttown.
nice plug for Easttown. GR.
Yeah.
And then do you what's your office hours? Do you normally are you gone Wednesdays or something?
Annie's here now.
yeah, just a couple hours.
Okay.
But our office hours are all on Google
Okay.
too, and Facebook, and like
We have, like,
posted
late-
everywhere.
Hours if you need them.
Yeah, we're here.
Annie's here till 7.
But the
Till
best way,
7,
so would it
just
be
for
best to go to your website? For like new patients, what would you prefer?
Yeah, website, Facebook, Google, whatever's. Yeah, our website is www.risewellnesschiro.com. If you just look up Rise Wellness, it'll be the first hit on Google too,
Okay.
if you're in the area, and that'll take you to our website, and we have links to our Facebook and Instagram on there too. So.
And you can schedule right through there too, I believe, right?
It's
That's what I
scheduled
do.
through there. You can see all of our cool events that we're doing, like our Baby Bumps and Beer Bellies thing at the end of the month at Brewery Vivant. We sold out our tickets in less than a week.
Good job. I had
super
no
pumped about
idea.
that. Yeah, so we're thinking about maybe doing another one in a couple weeks if we have the interest.
2 weeks, that's soon.
No, not 2 weeks. Oh, yeah, the next one is in 2 weeks.
Oh, I
Sorry.
said in another one in 2 weeks.
No, in a
Oh,
couple.
I was like, you're gonna do them every 2 weeks. You girls are ambitious.
not doing that.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we're super excited about that. That'll be our first one, so it'll be trial run, and we're just excited to talk about, again, the benefits of chiropractic care during pregnancy and how important it is at helping you through that pregnancy and all those changes that your body's going through.
So if people are interested, they should just watch your Facebook page for the next one,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Cool. And then hopefully we'll be involved in that one too.
Yeah.
Cool. Well then, thanks for talking again. I always love seeing you girls. You can always find us at goldcoastdoulas.com, and you can listen to this podcast. It's called Ask the Doulas on iTunes and SoundCloud. Thanks.